What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What's cracking, y'all? Back with another one submitted by the fabulous subscriber supporter who's been holding down the Larry Bird recommendations like no other. Dutch T. Salutes you, Dutch T. She dug up another interview for us to check out and react to. Dutch T says, I don't know anything about soccer, so I did some research in case you don't either. This guy's name is THIERRY Henry, was born near Paris and was a superstar player for several different teams before becoming a coach, manager, and broadcaster. And this is the gentleman that will be interviewing Larry Bird. This is fresh. I have not seen it before, and I may have seen small segments, but I don't ever recall even watching a small segment of a Larry Bird interview where a soccer player was interviewing him. So I would have to imagine, I haven't seen any of this before, even a small soundbite, but we'll get into it. If you know anything about this soccer player, THIERRY Henry, let me know in the comment section. Sound off. I don't know anything about soccer. I've never played soccer before. I've never even played a FIFA game. I might have played a FIFA game for like 2 minutes. Someone just handed me the sticks and I tried to hit a goal, but not a fan of soccer. It's a beautiful sport, don't get me wrong. I'm just not a soccer fan. And actually, I consider it to be one of the most difficult sports in the entire world to play. Most difficult sports, in my opinion, without having played them in any type of team sport capacity outside of gym class or intramurals, soccer, baseball, and golf, to me, are the three most difficult sports. That's just my opinion. Anywho, this interview is roughly 21 and a half minutes long. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's see what beautiful words and wisdom Larry Bird has for us. Let's check it out.
Hi guys, you won't believe who I'm about to meet. I'm really excited. We're about to meet the legend. I hope you're getting where I'm going with that. Anyway, wow. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Terry, pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I think you're sitting right there and I'm sitting here. Wow. Thanks for accepting the talk.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. It's my first time here. My wife's been here a few times, but it's very exciting and looking forward to the next few days.
First time in London?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Been all over the world
is.
multiple times, but never been through here.
I mean, if you were still playing in the NBA, you would have had to travel a bit more, I guess. You
Yes.
traveled with the dream team, obviously, which
Right.
was amazing. How much did you enjoy that in Barcelona?
I enjoyed it. It was at the end of my career. I knew when I was done with the Olympics, I was retiring, and been around a good group of guys that play at a very high level for about 3 weeks. It was pretty interesting to get to know them a little bit better. I knew most of them, but when you're around someone for a period of time, you get to know them a little bit better. Had a lot of fun. I think we promoted the game the way we really set out to do. And if you look from 92 to now, you'll see that the league's full of international stars. Back then we had some coming in, but now a lot of them are of our stars of today. And we think we set that example for the world to you either get better or you get out, and they got better. So it was a lot of fun.
No, you guys did, and you were talking about enjoying it. Because when I retired and I knew I was going, people didn't know, but I knew I couldn't do what I used to do before. And I knew that was going to be roughly maybe my last title that I won with Barcelona. I remember every single moment of that season because I knew that was going to be the end, and I'm sure that was the same with you in Barcelona.
Coming from a small town and going through college is something I never thought I'd be able to do, and playing in the NBA. Like I tell everyone that comes in this league, you better smell the roses while you can because it don't last very long. And I had some good mentors back then that told me, they said, enjoy it because time flies. Your career will be over before you know it. So as I went along in Boston, I sort of watched and looked and and enjoyed what I was doing. You know, getting paid to play a sport that you love is beyond belief. But just the understanding that, you know, I knew the time was going to end soon. But going through it, I tell you, I enjoyed it. I love to compete. I love to play the games. I really like to practice. I like to see how good I could take my skill level. And then once it's over, once it was over and I retired, I felt like a big weight was lifted off my shoulder. It's not that I felt I was carrying pressure. I think it was just in my mind to demand my body to do so much day after day and try to stay at that level that I want to stay at.
So you're talking about Indiana. I just wanted to know how much impact that team that you saw playing in the ABA had on you in your career.
It had some. You know, I watched them play, and if you get them on TV, you sort of, back then you couldn't get a million challenge, you just got a few, but I got to see them play in person a few times. I can remember in the 7th grade, our high school coach would take us down and watch them play the Kentucky Colonels, and you know, never dreaming that I'd be good enough to play as a professional, and we idolized all the guys, so it had an impact, there's no question.
I mean, I grew up watching you and battling against the Lakers. Sometimes you won, sometimes you lost, but they were great battles, especially for us in Europe watching you guys play. But what I liked is the way you were competing, and you mentioned it before, you never gave up. You know, the fact that you won MVP 3 times, and I actually didn't know that, but Executive of the Year, Coach of the Year, you did also well in that sector. I just wanted to know also the adjustment that you had to make in between being a player,
right,
and then suddenly being a coach.
Being a player is the ultimate. You know, like I always said, I still draw up plays for other guys who have the ball in their hands. I had it in my hands at the crucial part of the game. It's a major adjustment. The one thing that I did was I had 2 very good.
I was about to say that has to be a major adjustment. Being as great as a player, you know, as Larry Bird is, and going to be a coach, and you know, now putting other players in positions that you would normally be in to, you know, lead the charge, or you know, everything falls on your shoulders. You make the shot, make it or break it. It's all on you. And players like Larry relish that opportunity. They wanted to take that shot. But now, you know, being a coach and then, you know, watching people mess up and maybe failing in those spots can be more aggravating, considering the player that, you know, you used to be before you was a coach. And I remember Kobe Bryant said that one time. He's like, man, I couldn't coach in the NBA because he's like, I'm too competitive. I'm too obsessed. And, you know, I don't know if I'd have the patience to deal with the players, especially feeling like, you know, if I still had my body functioning like it could be, I get on the floor right now. You know what I mean? It has to be a tough adjustment for great players to step aside. And I'm sure the hairs are raised on their skin and their fingers are tingling and their body is tingling because they're just like, let me, give me the ball. Rip off the suit, put on the jersey. Let me get out there. Let me show you how to do it. You can't do that. All right, I'll continue the video.
Good assistants, veteran assistants around me, which helped me tremendously. And going in, knowing I was just going to do it for 3 years, I wanted to make an impact. And we had a very good basketball team. I was fortunate when I came in, we had some good older talent on our team, some veterans, and with a mixture of some young guys. And we had some success, all because we believed in one another. You know, it was a lot of hard work. I promised my players I wouldn't put them through anything that I'd never been through. But we're going to do things the right way. We're going to do them every night, not just once in a while. I think they won 38 games a year before I came in, and I think we won 56 or 58 the first year, made the Eastern Conference Finals. But I believed in them. I wouldn't have took the job if I didn't think they could play better than what they did. It was a great experience for me, just being on the other side of it, and then moving into the front office has been something I never dreamed of, because I've been in this league for about 36 years now. You know, and it's amazing that you can stay in one area your whole life. But like I tell people, this is all I know. And while I'm here, I'm going to have to make an impact, because the league changes every 10 years. New players come in, new styles. So you got to have an open mind to everything. The kids, like we tell the young kids coming now, same things my parents told me when I was young, like that music is no good.
Yes.
Why you listen to that? Then as you get older, I'm sort of saying the same things to the players on my team. But it's been great. It's been an honor. There's not much more I can do other than win championships. And once we do that, I think that I'll make the full circle.
And a personal one for me, how was it to play in the Garden? Because I only saw footage sometime in games, as you said, especially in Europe, games that we could see.
Right.
And whenever I see the footage of the games, how many times do you think that that court and arena won a game for you? And I know you guys were on the court to win the game.
Yeah.
But when you have that help from
unbelievable. I mean, it's great. The problem with the Garden was, I always said it was one of the greatest places to be able to shoot the basketball because the background, you could see the baskets real clear.
Okay.
They just sort of stuck out there. But it also helped the opposing team to shoot well in there. But the fans, been a part of Boston sports, has been great. I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy them because they still win. The Celtics are winning. The Patriots win. They got good sports teams, a baseball team and hockey team. So it was great growing up there. I got there when I was 22, 23, and I spent 15 years there, and it was great. The fans were outstanding. I could go in the papers today for the game and say something about the crowd. Probably ain't going to show up tomorrow. They might as well stay at home, and they just be incredible. I know I speak. I don't really speak for my teammates, but there's some nights we came off that court and one of my teammates said, if they wanted blood today, they didn't care whose it was. It could have been ours or theirs, but they wanted to win the game. And they were great. They're great to play for.
And another one, because I get that question asked often. I'm going to ask you, not who was your favorite teammate. Oh, sorry, the best teammate that you had, but your favorite, sorry. Not the best.
Dennis Johnson. Because the best was probably Kevin McHale, but DJ.
Necessarily.
But the favorite that people sometimes don't appreciate.
Yeah, I had a lot of great ones, and all different personalities. The greatest teammate I had was not a star player on our team. He was a guy that came off our bench, and I just played with him for 4 years. His name was ML Carr, because I never thought you could ever have a better teammate.
Wait a second, Larry. You've always said your favorite teammate was DJ. Larry, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm taking the question out of context. Y'all clear it up for me in the comments section. I've never heard him say this about ML Carr. But then again, I wasn't watching basketball in the 80s.
Than ML, because he was the guy that would tell you if you wasn't practicing hard, if you wasn't playing hard. Wow. I can remember in timeouts, somebody wouldn't be playing well, and he'd just tell the coach in front of everybody, say, look, coach, you're not getting the effort out of so-and-so. I would like to play. I will give you all the effort that I have. I mean, he's done that 1,000,000 times. He did it in practice. So I don't think you can ever get a better teammate than that. Far as playing, it's hard to pick one. I've always said Dennis Johnson was my favorite to play with. And Kevin McHale says the only reason you said that because he handled the ball. If you didn't sell your point guard.
Well, it looks like I just had my question answered. Larry, forgive me. Forgive me for questioning your logic. I am not worthy.
But you loved him, he's not going to pass you the ball. But I had Kevin, I had Robert,
funny.
I had Danny Ainge, and Bill Walton at the end. Bill was great. He came in 86 and very talented. He's at his end of his career, and he was a lot of fun to bring on the team, and he meshed really well. So I've been blessed to play with a lot of great players and have a lot of great teammates. But if it's just the best teammate, it's probably Emil Carr.
Wow, I wouldn't have expected that one. There is another thing that I wanted to talk about. The game has evolved so much, and obviously you know way more than me. But from a guy that sees it from the outside, the ability of now the guys can shoot. Everybody can shoot a three. I mean, you saw the first one in your
Right.
rookie year. Now I remember always before you have to feed the big man.
Right.
Now is, let's see what's happening on the perimeter first.
That's changed.
Then feed the big man. It's kind of weird when you see those guys now scoring plus 23s in the game. Did you think that was ever going to happen?
Never. When the three-point line came in 1980 in the NBA game, we used to, if a guy was beyond the three-point line with the ball, we wouldn't even guard him. We wouldn't even go out there. We'd get off of him 3 or 4 foot and dare him to shoot. To see the game to come to this point after 30-some years, and teams are taking 35, a lot of them over 30 three-pointers a game, some 50. My team's starting to shoot 25 to 30 a game. I just never anticipated that. When I played, I never shot that many. As I got a little bit later in my career, I shot more, but I never heard anybody to use it as your advantage. I've always used it at the end of the game. If you're down 1 or if you're up 2, you make a three-pointer, demoralizes the team. Now they make one, nobody even flinches. They just get it in and go with it. And
Larry's right. Wasn't weaponized back then, weaponized now. But when you were banging threes back then, like Larry said, it was much more demoralizing. It had much more impact and influence on, and especially in key moments, and pivotal moments of the game and momentum and which way it goes. But now, that is the main course now in today's NBA. Everybody's going for the three-point shot. You make 5 threes in a row these days, no one bats an eyelash because the other team's going to go on a three-point run. It's like, it's a different league.
And I think it's been better for our game. And one of the reasons is I know 10 or 15 years ago they were talking about the court being too small, players getting too fast, too athletic, and it was sort of bunching in there, and there's not a lot of movement. But the way they changed the rules on the fouling, you can't touch anybody, and the three-point shot, the court looks as big as it ever has. So I think it's great for the game.
Do you think they will, because I was thinking the other day, do you think they're going to change the line of the three? Because those guys shoot from way downtown.
Well, not at this time, but I think in the future you never know where this is going to go. The more they practice it and the more they shoot it, the better they will get at it. If we start getting guys shooting 40 to 50%, multiple guys, year after year, and you see centers shooting 40, 50%, they probably have to do something. But right now we're not there.
Yeah. What do you think, since we are in Europe, what do you think about the impact of the European players in the NBA? If we go through the history, we can talk about Detlef Schrempf, Vlade Divac, Petrovic. I used to like Petrovic. We know obviously what happened. And Tony. I'm going to say Tony. Tony's a friend of mine, so I'm going to have to put him there. But now, when I see the likes of Antetokounmpo, what he's doing, only to mention him, I've never seen a big guy moving the way he moves.
Right. Well, our league's open to everyone.
Will Chamberlain.
We're very fortunate that these players are getting good enough to come over and make an impact. I like it. I followed European basketball all the way back to Oscar Schmidt. So I've seen a lot of great players. Seen a lot of great players come to the NBA, and some do well and some not so well. But I think it's an open league. I love it. It goes back to what Dave Gavitt told me back in '91. If the Dream Team does what he thinks it can do, it'll open up the world to basketball. And I think that's done that. And we've even had some European players win MVP in our league and win multiple championships. So it's great. It just makes us stronger. We're trying to have a league where it's open and we want everybody in the world to watch and enjoy it. And the only way you can do that is if you have people from all over the world playing in it.
I'm gonna ask you a question where I kind of know the answer, but I have to ask you that question because as a competitor, would you have moved to play with Magic or Michael Jordan or all those guys, or you wanted to compete against them?
Well, we didn't. Free agency is not like it is now.
If you had the
opportunity.
But
I enjoyed competing against Magic. I really did. And I would think he would say the same thing. Even though we're pretty good little friends, but once you step on that court, it was all out. He had a fantastic career, won a lot of championships. But when I look back through all that, I had more enjoyment beating him than I've ever had at beating anybody. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what other than a couple of championships, what is it? I mean, we started in college. This goes way back. So, the intensity and plus, you got to remember the Lakers and the Celtics were battling back in the 60s. So this is just a carryover, and man, was it fun. It was great.
But do you understand those guys now, or sometimes you're like...
Well, they got to do what they got to do. And I understand some of it. It's a different league. But I don't think Irving would want to play with me, and I don't think Michael would want to play with Magic. I think that so obviously Michael came in the league a little bit later than us. But as far as me and Irving, I can guarantee you he would tell you that he'd rather play against me than with me. I mean, just like the Olympics, if it's every day you go out there and you know you're going to win, you want to fight, you want to compete. You want to have an opportunity if it gets close to make the big plays. And that's what we got against the Lakers. I love to compete against him.
Which one was your favorite title?
Well, they're all special. The first one in Houston, and we 84, the Lakers, and 86, we had our best team and a group of guys, but it goes back to the Lakers. If I could beat Magic every night, I probably had to say 84,
84?
We were down 2-1, and we just came off of our 2-1, and they just beat us by 30 points, and we had to play another game in L.A. and came back and won it in 7, and it was just grinding. Every game was just a grind out, which that's the way it's supposed to be, And then we played him in 85 and 87, and he come back and won with his great team. So 84 is probably the special one for me.
84. So for me, I was since the beginning, I watched basketball. So I went to look for the game. But I think it's great that the NBA and you guys are coming here to make sure that everybody can see the game, because as you know, here it's rugby, football, right. Soccer, as you will say it, and cricket. But I think it's amazing that you guys are coming in. There is a massive buzz around the town about the game.
Yeah, we're excited about being here. It is in the middle of our season, but we played a lot of games early. We probably played 2 or 3 more games than most teams up to this point. And coming over here, our guys will enjoy it. They play 1 game in 1 week. They get to see the city. They'll practice, and they'll practice hard. But this is what I talk about when you try to expose your game to everyone. The NBA's got to do this. We got to bring our players to the fans sometime. It just can't be through TV. So if we have little kids come to our game, they get to say hi to some of our players, that goes a long way. And that carries over. We have fans from London, and this is us come to their house. And I think that's what it's all about. And the NBA does a good job of putting teams all throughout the world in exhibition and during the season sometime. And we do a lot of clinics all over the world. So this is just another step to try to draw in more fans to watch our game.
Well, for me, it's amazing that you guys are here, but I wanted to add something again. Although, as you know, there were some great players in the league before, but you, Magic, and Michael Jordan changed the game for us in Europe. Really. I don't know if you're aware of that, but really, not because only of the Dream Team.
Right.
But when they started to show the games, and they were showing only the finals, and that was the time where you were battling against Magic and Michael Jordan, obviously being Michael Jordan. Yeah. But you 3 changed the mentality of people in Europe. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Irvin and I came in the league in 1980, and the league wasn't really healthy, and they had their problems. But I think by us playing team basketball and one being on the East Coast, one being on the West Coast, we sort of helped grow the game with a lot of other great players also. Then when Michael came in and he took over really in 89, 90, whatever it was, he just grew the game. And you got to remember, it wasn't just Irvin and I. We had Karl Malone, John Stockton. We had Patrick Ewing, Chris Mull. No. You just go down the line. There's so many of them. But, yeah, I would say that we sort of started all that. And it was always great, I think, for the league to have the Celtics and Lakers on Sunday afternoons. We would play at noon or 1 o'clock, then they follow us up. Then we so happened to play in the finals 3 different times in the 80s, and either his team was in the final game or I was in the finals, so I think it helped. But when Michael came in, he took it to another level. But there was a lot of us, and our game is growing, and we're doing pretty well, but we want to get it bigger. We would like to make it a lot bigger and get more fans involved and have these teams going around throughout the world and watch them play and see how we do things. I think it's great.
Well, to be fair, having all the European in the league, and not only the European, South American, African, right. I think that a lot says a lot.
Players
about,
are coming
about
from everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It is. To be fair, you want if you're a player, you want to go where the league is the best. So
right.
You have to go to the NBA. But you guys are open about it, so that's good.
Sure, we we're open to anyone. If you're good enough, come and play for us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
A little bit higher for me, please, Larry. Wonderful. Not too high for you, though, Thierry. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Lovely smiles. Excellent.
There you go. We can change now.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Enjoy London.
I'll be watching to see
your
coaching.
Yes. Hopefully it can be as good as yours.
That was a great interview, and I love how Larry's still very much an ambassador of the NBA, and is still very much promoting the league, regardless of what I may think about it, or a lot of other players, or past players rather, sound off about how soft it is, how weak it is, how the rules have changed to promote offense. So while people might say these players are so more talented than the players that they used to be, and then people that actually understand that say they're not far superior beings from players of the past. The league has changed, the rule has changed, and they have promoted offense and have made it easier to score, and they have completely dropped defensive fundamentals and allowing players to play defense at the same time the way they used to. So it's a lot of different things that have cultivated a very specific kind of league that they were looking for, that has been offensive driven and allows players to move freely and get space freely and get shots off easier. That is what the NBA wanted, and that is what they have created over the years. I'm not a fan of it, but Larry is always going to speak highly of the league because, as he should, and promote it and continue to move the league forward like he did. Handing the torch, him and Magic handing the torch to Mike handing the torch to the next guy, so on and so forth. But it is what it is. But I do love how Larry definitely touched on, hey man, he answered it delicately because it is his job to promote the league. He's not going to bash the players, at least won't be harsh about it. But he said, hey man, I wouldn't want to play with Mike. I wouldn't want to play with Magic. Mike wouldn't have wanted to play with Magic or me. If we wanted to compete, what is the point of competing? What is the point of loving the game? What is the point of playing for a championship if you create an environment where there's not challenge? No, I don't want to play with Dwayne Wade. No, I don't want to play with Chris Bosh and Ray Allen and stack the bench up. No, I don't want that. I want to play against those guys. I'm a competitor. I want to see that guy face to face, that other guy that's supposed to be as good as me, and I want to see you face to face. I want to lock eyes with you. I want to go for your jugular. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're going to get everything I got, and we're going to take this game. And even if I lose, I'm going to make you hurt. You're going to have to deal with my performance. That's me. That's me. And then it feels so much more savory. It feels so much more better when you get a victory. When you don't stack the deck against the other teams. It's like stepping on ants. There's no fun in stepping on ants. Give me some competition. Create a league with competitive balance. They understood that. And like he said, free agency wasn't a thing, but would you have? No, they wouldn't. I don't give it. If free agency was a thing back then, I know damn well these guys wouldn't have teamed up, and the way that players are teaming up now, I know damn well it wouldn't happen. No. Sorry. I truly believe they wouldn't. They were cut from a different cloth. It's crazy now. And Magic and Larry always would say, because remember, they played together before they came into the NBA in that exhibition game. And they always say, one more time, just one more time, I just want to get a chance to play with this guy again. And they got to in the Olympics. Yeah, that makes sense. But they wasn't trying to play with each other in the NBA when they're trying to fight for a championship. Another golden interview from Larry Bird. Dutch T, again, much appreciated for digging this one up. This is from the NBA Europe YouTube channel. Didn't even know they had one. Guess I didn't think about it. But check out our Larry Bird playlist. More interviews, game footage, highlights, all that stuff. Go check it out. All right. Shout out to the Bird Gang. And I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.